Well, here's Kellogg Kettle Kellogg, who, as always, is good. As it turns out, he reported everything to Trump as it really is. He said that, in fact, Russia is losing the war. And that's not just a figure of speech. It's not just some pretty words. It really is a form of losing, because when you consider something like a boxing match, a chess game, or a theatrical performance, all of these varied activities, and this importantly includes war itself, are fundamentally time-limited events. Each one has its own particular limit, a specific boundary, and going beyond that point means the event becomes a profound disgrace, particularly for the side that was responsible for initiating it. Meanwhile, official propaganda within the Russian Federation is actively discussing the necessity of assassinating Kellogg, proposing to wait for his arrival in Kiev and then eliminate him with targeted missile strikes. And in general, it wouldn't be a bad idea. This is on official Russian TV. You can see it on my Telegram channel. They're discussing that all these Western politicians who come to Ukraine are all legitimate targets. By the way, there's another interesting statement from Kellogg, who, as far as I know, has studied the issue thoroughly and has mutual friends. He claims that there's no need to be afraid of the Russian army at all. And he also says that we could easily kick their asses, probably referring to the Americans. I wouldn't be so quick to agree here, because even this terrifying orcish horde that is the Russian army has something the Americans don't. They have the most valuable thing you can have in war: experience. But nevertheless, Kellogg says that these Russian orcs are not nearly as good as Putin claims. For that, Kellogg continues, I give credit to the Ukrainian army. So in other words, we can see that gradually, little by little, a global catastrophe is quietly brewing, gestating in the political womb of the world. Meanwhile, these imbeciles in Solovyov's studio are enthusiastically planning the assassination of Western senators, and presidents live on federal TV. And the West is preparing tools to pull the teeth of the Russian cannibals. So this, forgive me for the fancy word, embryogenesis of a universal catastrophe is quite fascinating. And this embryogenesis is similar to the maturation of any embryo in general. After all, before the nightmare matures, before it is carried to term and throws open the outer gates to its womb and reveals its ugly face, as we now understand, many fascinating internal processes must take place. So these processes are underway, and we have the opportunity to observe them in real time. Because all these initial stages of the nightmare's inception in the womb of world politics, all those gastrolas, neuralas, have all been successfully completed. And the embryo of the global nightmare already shows the beginnings of little hands and a smile. Huh? Optimists and romantics, they still hope that this creature already visible on the ultrasound, on a mental ultrasound, of course, that this creature will just dissolve on its own. That's unlikely, because at this stage, resorption is generally completely ruled out. The fetus is already too large, and at this point an abortion is needed. But alas, it seems there are no specialists in the world who could crush this nightmare while it's still in the womb or gut it out prematurely. But Donald Trump, yes, that's right, he actually turned out to be quite the accomplished doctor.